Bismillah, read. نعم عبد الله هذا. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. It is mentioned here in this hadith. Remember, we're discussing the random fazail of the different Sahaba Ikram. So once Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sitting in his tent, and people were passing by his tent, so he couldn't see who was there. So وَأَنْهُ قَالَ نَزَلْنَا مَعَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم مَنْزِلًا. We came to one place, we stopped there. فَجَعَلَ النَّاسُ يَمُرُّونَ. People began passing by the tent of Rasulullah. فيقول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, Nabi said, Man hadha, who is this, ya Aba Hurairata, who just passed our tent now, because Nabi Sallallahu couldn't see, right? Right, Man hadha ya Aba Hurairata faqulu fulanun. I say, it is such and such a person, I give the person's name. فيقول نعم عبد الله هذا, this is a good servant of Allah Ta'ala. ويقول من هذا, then when another person would pass the tent, and the Bism couldn't see, they would say, who is this person who passed now? Then Hazrat Abu Hurairah would say the name of the person, وَيَقُولُ مَنْ هَذَا فَقُولُ فُلَانٌ, it is such and such a person. Then the Bism would say, فَيَقُولُ بِئْسَ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ هَذَا, that this person is not such a good servant of Allah Ta'ala, right? Bi'sa means opposite of ni'ma. Ni'ma means how wonderful. Bi'sa means how bad, right? حتى مر خالد بن الوليد, until Khalid ibn al-Walid, he passed by the tent of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu didn't know who it was. فقال من هذا, who is this, who passed the tent down? فقلت خالد بن الوليد يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, Khalid ibn al-Walid, he passed now. فقال نعم عبد الله خالد بن الوليد سيف من سيوف الله. So what a wonderful servant, right? What a wonderful servant of Allah is Khalid ibn al-Walid, a sword from the swords of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I told you what had happened here was that maybe they went on jihad or some expedition or something, and the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sitting in his tent. He was sitting in his tent, and people were passing by there, and he was not sure who was passing because he couldn't see. And he asked Hazrat Abu Huraira, and as Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala, who mentioned the names of the people, he would say, this is a good person, this is not such a good person, etc. And then when Hazrat Khalid bin Walid passed, then he mentioned good words. This is a wonderful servant of Allah Ta'ala. So the relevance of the hadith for the chapter is quite obvious. Then the relevance is just that, remember we speak about a random virtue of the Sahaba Ikram, and here the random virtue we're speaking is about of Khalid ibn al-Walid. He was a good servant of Allah Ta'ala, which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam praised him. Carry on. قالت الأنصار يا نبي الله لكل نبي أتباع فإنك اتبعناك فادعو الله أن يجعل أتباعنا ممن اتبع به هو البخاري. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Just read it again. I'm sure just read it again. زيد بن أرقم قالت الأنصار يا نبي الله لكل نبي أتباع وإنا قد اتبعناك فادعو الله أن يجعل أتباعنا ممن اتبع به. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن زيد بن أرقم, narrating the authority of Zayd ibn Arqam, قال, he says, قالت الأنصار, the Ansar said, Ya Nabi Allah, O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we know it is the sunnah of Allah Ta'ala, لكل نبي أتباع, every Nabi has followers. وإنا قد are you reading it? قد اتبعناك, verily قد اتبعناك, we followed you, we assisted you, right? فادعوا الله يجعل أتباعنا منا. So you make special dua that Allah Ta'ala make, right? أتباعنا, as followers for you, right? فدعا به. So Nabi Sallallahu made the dua, Ya Allah Ta'ala, make the Ansar my special followers. So this hadith as a whole is a great accolade and is a great, you can say, cap in the feather for the Ansar. Okay, read the next riwayat. قال وقال أنا قتل منهم يوم أحد 70 ويوم معين 70 ويوم يمامة على Subhanallah. Remember there was a hadith we done there that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that the Ansar will become less. And there were several explanations. One of the explanations was this here that um, as more and more people accept Islam, the Ansar will become diluted, they will become lesser and lesser, remember? And then another explanation was this here that out of all the battles, right, the Ansar, they will, most shaheeds will be made from them, right? Remember? So look at this hadith here. وَأَنْ قَتَادَةَ narrated on the authority of Qatada قال ما نعلم حيا من أحياء العرب أكثر شهيدا. We do not know any tribe, right? ما نعلم حيا من أحياء العرب, from the tribes of the Arabs, أكثر شهيدا, that has more shuhada, أعز يوم القيامة, that will be more honored on the day of Qiyamah, من الأنصار, than the Ansar, right? قال, that was, they're the most shuhada, they will be the most honored, etc. قال وقال أنس, and he said, as Anas said, قتل منهم يوم أحد, there was killed from amongst them on the day of Uhud, 70, subhanallah, right? ويوم بئر معونة, and on the day of بئر معونة was also another battle. You do this inshallah next year when you do Kitab al-Maghazi in Bukhari Shareef, you do in detail. And then he says on بئر معونة it was also 70 it was made shaheed, subhanallah. ويوم اليمامة على أهل أبي بكر 70. يوم اليمامة, remember after Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, you had the Ridda wars. The Ridda wars were those opportunists from amongst the Arabs. What they done? That some refused to pay zakat, some claimed prophethood, some said that we will pay zakat, but we won't pay it to the Khalifa. We will discharge our own zakat. There were different problems, right? So then as Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, and at that point in time, he showed fortitude, he showed resilience, and what he done? He brought all these people to book. So one of those wars, the Ridda wars, was the Battle of Yamama. Are you with me? So they say, وَيَوْمَ الْيَمَامَةِ عَلَى أَهْلِ أَبِي بَكْرٍ سَبْعُونَ. And on the day of Yamama, in the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, also 70 were made shaheed. So you see how many were made shaheed from the Ansar, what type of service they rendered to the religion of Islam. Allah Ta'ala reward them on all our behalf for their stellar yeoman service towards the religion of Islam. Right? So remember we thought we were discussing random virtues of the Sahaba Ikram. So this is definitely a virtue of what? A virtue of the Ansar, that they laid down their lives. We remember in Bay'atul Aqabatul Ula and Bay'atul Aqabatul Thaniya, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was looking for somebody to host him, to take charge of him, to assist him in the mission of propagating the religion of Islam. Then they came forward, remember, they came forward and they gave their names, right? So they fulfilled that obligation to the best of their ability. Read the next riwayat. قال كان عطاء البدريين 5000 و5000 قال عمر على بعضهم رواه البخاري. سبحان الله. وعن قيس بن أبي حازم, narrating the authority of قيس بن حازم, قال كان عطاء البدريين 5000. that the stipend or the stipend of the people of Badr was 5,000 dinars. وقال عمر, as Umar said, لا أفضلن من بعدهم. لا, what you got there? لا أفضلن, or لا أفضلن, what you got? لا أفضلنهم على من بعدهم. Okay, to understand this hadith, remember I told you before, as Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, in his khilafat was a very short khilafat, and he mostly, you change the page, ne? Someone asked him to change the page. You change the page. So as Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he mostly concentrated his energies in bringing all these people, the delinquent Arabs, etc., to book. But when Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was elected as the Khalifa, he could pay a lot of attention to administrative issues. And so he introduced a lot of stipends, grants for children, for the elderly, etc., etc. So from amongst the things he done is he made a special stipend or a special grant for those people who took part in the Battle of Badr. And obviously, he recognized his great contribution. That is why he said, لَأُفَضِّلَنَّهُمْ عَلَى مَنْ بَعْدَهُمْ. Definitely, I will give the people, all the participants of Badr, all those people who take part in Badr, I will give them virtue and precedence over the rest of the people. لَأُفَضِّلَنَّهُمْ عَلَى مَنْ بَعْدَهُمْ. Right, so I'll give them extra. So Hazrat Abu Bakr also used to give, yes, mention a stipend to the people of Badr. But Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, when he came, he mentioned clearly and said it, look, these are the people who stood up for Islam when no one else was there. So they will get extra. They will get more than everyone else, right? What's the next heading you got there? So there, the relevance of that hadith for the chapter is quite obvious. It's highlighting the virtue of the people of Badr, right? What's the next heading you have there in your kitab? Loud. تسمية من سمي من أهل بدر في الجامع البخاري. You got that? So mention or tasmiyah to the mentioning, tasmiyah is a mentioning, man sumya, who has been mentioned, min ahli Badr, from the people of Badr, fil Jami al-Bukhari. What does that mean, Yusuf? Tasmiyatu man sumya min ahli Badr fil Jami al-Bukhari. What does that mean, Yusuf? All the Sahaba Ikram who took part in Badr and their names are mentioned in Bukhari Shareef, all of them will be mentioned now, right? You understood that? Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, قال الله تعالى, وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرِ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. That verily Allah Ta'ala assisted you. وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ, Allah Ta'ala assisted you بِبَدْرِ, in Badr, وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ, whilst you were, how you translate أذلة? Whilst you were weak. Check it out. Just check the meaning there for me. Assalamu alaikum, Aadiel. My people. Inside. What? Right, very good, mashallah. Online person also answered. Participants of Badr mentioned in Bukhari Sharif. Right. Whilst you were low, you were weak, etc. So just, we done this several times, but just briefly again, in the second year of Hijri, when did the Battle of Badr take place? In the second year of Hijri. There was a trade caravan, right? A Qurayshi trade caravan. Where did the Quraysh live? The Quraysh lived in Makkah, isn't it? So there was a Qurayshi, you say, Tijarati Kafla, was coming from Sham, from Syria to Makkah. So this would pass by, close by Medina. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, with a group of 313 Sahaba Ikram, went with a group of 313 Sahaba Ikram to try and capture this caravan. So these Sahaba Ikram, they weren't fully equipped for an all-out battle. They were, you can say to say, they were lightly armed. They had light arms with them because they were not going out for a full battle. So they just had light arms with them, right? Because the intention, the primary intention wasn't to go to battle. They just want to capture this trade caravan and break the economic might of the Quraysh, who was the adversaries. They wanted to break the economic might of the Quraysh, who were the enemies. But the head of this caravan was Abu Sufyan, and he managed to get information that the Muslims are after him, and the Muslims want to waylay or hijack this caravan. So he managed to slip away. What he managed to do? And he sent an urgent message to Makkah that here we are coming with your people's goods, and the Muslims want to capture us. They want to capture your goods. It was when Abu Jahl, Abu al-Hakam, Abu Jahl got this information, when he prepared an army of over 1,000 people, and he set out towards Badr. So remember we discussed this, that the Quraysh of Makkah came first, and they got the better ground, the higher ground. They captured the water sources, etc. And then the trade caravan managed to slip away. So what you had here now was a fully equipped, you can say equipped to the teeth army of 1,000, and then you had the 313 lightly armed Muslims. Are you with me? So we know the story, we done this detailed. Allah Ta'ala assists the Muslims. لَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرِ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. Allah Ta'ala assisted them with the angels. According to some riwayat, Allah Ta'ala sent 1,000 angels. According to some riwayat, Allah Ta'ala sent 2,000 angels. According to some riwayat, Allah Ta'ala sent 5,000 angels. So we done this also, all those people who took part in the Battle of Badr, from amongst the humankind and also from amongst the angels, they had a special status in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So because of the great status of all the participants of Badr, the Muhaddithin had taken special care in mentioning their names. And Sahibi Mishkaat also, he took care to mention the names of the participants of Badr. Although there's some ikhtilaf, difference of opinion amongst the ulama, that exactly how many people took part in Badr. Some ulama say they added up and they say there was 315. Some riwayats say 317. Some riwayats actually say 365. Some riwayats say 314. Al-Isti'ab, which is a book written, special book on the names of the Sahaba Ikram, is mentioned there. So the preferred opinion that most of the ulama take and practice upon is that they were 313. So remember, Imam Bukhari has got a very, very stringent control before he enters something in his kitab, right? He's got very strict. So because of his strict rules, he only entered 45 names there. And remember also that Hazrat Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also included in the names of the people of Badr, even though he did not physically take part. And why was he included? Because on the express instruction of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was excused to look after his wife, Hazrat Ruqayya radiallahu ta'ala anha. So here, ulama mentioned certain things are what we call mujarrab. Mujarrab means certain things are learned through experience, right? So through experience, it is learned that Allah Ta'ala has kept great effect in the names of the people of the participants of Badr. It is mentioned that Allah Ta'ala readily accepts du'as after somebody takes the names of the people of Badr. It's mentioned that so many people obtained wilayat. They became special friends of Allah Ta'ala after taking the names of the people of Badr and then making dua. It's also mentioned through experience, it's also learned that after taking the names of the people of Badr, how many 6 people's du'as was answered and they were cured. Allah Ta'ala granted them cure. And like this, there are many other specialities for the names of the people of Badr. In Mazair Haq, one of the main shuruhat or the commentaries of Mishkaat Shareef, there are 314 names mentioned. And there also you got a special dua that is mentioned. Complete books were actually written with the names of the people of Badr, right? So here in your kitab there, you got the names of the people of Badr. How many names you got written there altogether? 45. They never mentioned the whole 313 there, ne? Only 45. In your kitab is how many is mentioned? 45. So these are the 45, right? These are the 45 that appears in Bukhari Sharif. Those that never make the grade of Bukhari Sharif was not mentioned in here. Okay, who's going to read it, inshallah? Who's ready to read it? Ukban. So that's the first one, right? So you got Abdullah ibn Uthman, Abu Bakr al-Siddiq al-Qurashi, Umar ibn al-Khattab al-Adawi, right? Hamad ibn Affan al-Qurashi, right? Yeah. خلفه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على ابنته رقية. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam left, made us him stay behind and look after his daughter Ruqayya, right? وضرب له, but despite him staying behind, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam still fixed a share for him, right? Right. Next was Ali ibn Abi Talib al-Hashimi, right? Iyas ibn Bukair, Hazrat Bilal ibn Rabah, Mawla Abi Bakr al-Siddiq, the free slave of Hazrat Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, right? Next one. Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib al-Hashimi, as the Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Right, Hatib ibn Abi Balta'a, Hatib, we know this name, we came across this name, that Sahabi that sent the letter, wanted to send the correspondence to the people of Makkah, right? Abu Hudhayfa ibn Uqbat ibn Rabi'at al-Qurashi, right, another Sahabi. Harith ibn Rabi' al-Ansari, right, was killed, he was made shaheed, Qutila Yawma Badrin. His name was Harith ibn Suraka, right? Right? Right. He was Wakana fin Nadarati. He was, they can say it, from the scouts. Right. Carry on. Hubayb ibn Aadiel Ansari, right? Hunais ibn Hudhafat as-Sahmi. Rifa'at ibn Rafi al-Ansari. Rifa'at ibn Abil Munzir. Abu Lubab al-Ansari. Right. As a Zubair Abu al-Qarish, famous Sahabi, right? Zayd ibn Sahl, right? That's famous one, right? Abu Talh al-Ansari, Abu Zayd al-Ansari. Sa'ad ibn Malik al-Zahri, right? Sa'ad ibn Khalid al-Qurashi, right? Sa'id ibn Zayd ibn Amr al-Nufayl al-Qurashi, right? Famous Sahabi. Sahl ibn Hunayf al-Ansari, right? Zuhair ibn Rafi al-Ansari, right? وأخوه and his brother Abdullah ibn Mas'ud al-Uzali, right? Abdul Rahman ibn Auf al-Zahri. Ubayd ibn Harith al-Qurashi. Ubadah ibn Sarib al-Ansari. Right? Amr ibn Auf Harifu Bani Amir ibn Lu'ayn, right? Uqbat ibn al-Ansari, right? Amir ibn, the next one is Amir ibn Rabi'at al-Anazi, right? Asif ibn Musab al-Ansari, right? Uwaym ibn Sa'idat al-Ansari, right? Idban ibn Malik al-Ansari, right? Qudamat ibn Mas'ud, right? Qatadat ibn Numan al-Ansari, right? Mu'adh ibn al-Jamuh has a famous Sahabi also, that, right? Mu'awwidh, remember Mu'awwidh and Mu'adh ibn Afrad, the two that killed not Hazrat, who killed Abu Jahl, right? وأخوه مالك بن ربيعة, right? Yeah, maybe this is another brother that he had also, right? So remember that if the name is not mentioned, it doesn't mean he was not part of Badr. It just means it never fulfilled the criterion of Bukhari Sharif, right? Huh? Say loud. Okay, they counted as one. So I don't understand what point you're making. Oh, okay, okay. So أخوه. So Muawidh ibn Afra wa أخوه. The separate in Malik ibn Rabi'a is separate. Okay, right, right. Perfect, makes sense. Then Malik ibn Rabi'ata, and then Abu Usayd al-Ansari, then Mistah ibn Usatha ibn Abdi Manaf, right? Then Mirara ibn Abi Ansari, right? Ma'an ibn Abi Ansari, right? Okay, so Mihdar ibn Amr al-Kindiyu, Halif, Halif Bani Zuhrata, right? That means the one who had a pact with the Bani Zuhra. Hilal ibn Umayya al-Ansari, famous Sahabi. May Allah Ta'ala be pleased with all of them. So like I told you before, that the preferred opinion amongst all the ulama is there are about 313. But here 40 made the grade. 45 that made the grade to appear in Bukhari Shareef. So normally the ulama say when you mention the names of all your du'as are readily accepted. So we never mentioned all the names here. We mentioned those that are mentioned in Bukhari Shareef. May Allah Ta'ala, even though it's not all the names, but still we make dua that Allah Ta'ala accept our du'as, all those that are sick, all those that are not well, all those that are suffering. Allah Ta'ala cure them from the illnesses. Allah Ta'ala give me shifa also. Anybody else who got shifa through the barakat of the names that I told you, it's a mujarrab amal. It is something which is learned through experience. Allah Ta'ala use that as a means of shifa for us and remove all the illnesses from our bodies and give us sakina and peace. But so Allah Ta'ala accept that day, inshallah Ta'ala accept till day. So we'll start the new chapter on Monday, inshallah. So now we're going to switch over to Hidayah Shareef, inshallah.